welcome to you. I'm Hayley Palmer. It's really good to have you here with me on tonight's show, especially as we are joined by Christian Ingebrigtsen from A1. And here is what happened when I caught up with him. Christian, it's great to have you on the show. How are you?
It's really great to be on your show. I'm good. How are you?
Yes, really good, thank you. And obviously it's been locked down over here. You're in Norway. What's it been like over there?
Well, from what I understand, we've actually been having a bit easier than you guys in the UK. We've mostly been able to go to the grocery stores and cut our hair and stuff, but it's pretty strict. I mean, we have to wear masks everywhere and wash our hands, and all the restaurants, and you can't sit indoors anywhere. It's all closed. And of course, all the venues are closed, so no gatherings are allowed, so we're not allowed to have any concerts. So, it's been a very different year.
Yes, it has, hasn't it? But obviously I can see you're in a studio and you're a very creative person. So what have you been getting up to?
Yeah, the good thing about, I guess I always try to look for the good things about any situation. And the good thing about Corona has been that I've had plenty of time to be in my studio. And I just finished a new solo album last week. So I've been working on that quite a bit.
Great.
And also producing an album for a choir organization from Norway called the Soul Children. And they have 400 choirs worldwide. So I'm producing an album for them and various other singles and stuff. I had 2 songs in the Norwegian Eurovision for the Eurovision entry this year. A whole bunch of studio work basically is what I've been doing.
Wow, fantastic stuff. Well, we're going to play out the first A1 song this evening, Christian. Same old, brand new you. Now, I had Mark on the show and I said to him, this is so glamorous. Was it filmed in Kansas or somewhere? And he said, no, it was filmed in Gravesend. And I was like, no way. It literally just looks glamorous and just, I just love it.
Yeah, we all got colds after filming that because it was really cold and we're supposed to, it was supposed to look like we were in Arkansas or somewhere. And we all got terrible colds because when we're dancing in the rain, it's actually a big fire truck there that we hired in for the day, splashing water all over us. So it looked like it was raining. And it was a cold but fun experience. And it looks great. So we're happy with it.
And this was the first #1 where you guys actually wrote this one, wasn't it?
That's right. We actually wrote it in America. We wrote it in New York. There was a producer called Eric Foster White who was really big at that time. Probably still is. I mean, he was a great producer. And so we went to his studio and we wrote this song in a day in his studio. And it was a bit of a he came with like a challenge for us, like writing songs with contrasts in them. Because I'd written a song for the album called "The Things We Never Did." And I think that sparked the idea. And he was like, well, how about, the things we never didn't? And we were like, maybe not that, but let's try something else. And that's how like the whole play of words came out with Same Old Brand New You. And then the choir bit at the beginning, because Ben had been, he was been in the choir in the St. Margaret's Westminster Abbey or whatever it's called. We wanted to use the choir boy in Ben and try to make like a mini choir out of us for the beginning. So that started all off, and it became a really cool song. And it's very much in the time, in the area of that time, how it would all set with the NSYNC and that sound of that time.
Yes, good times. Well, we're going to play the video out right now and we will see you after this.
I can still remember the time you were there when I needed to hold you.
I want to rewind, Christian, from how everything started for you, because am I right in saying that you took violin lessons at the age of 6?
That's right. I actually started playing the recorder at age 5, which is like a pre-course before you were allowed to play like a proper instrument, I guess.
Didn't know that bit.
And then, learning sheet music and that kind of stuff. And that was because my grandfather was a violin player for the Chicago Philharmonic Orchestra back in the 20s and 30s. And my dad is a pop singer as well.
Yes, I heard this.
Yeah, so he was like, I guess, like the Gareth Gates of Norway back then, because before Idol, there was a TV show called Talent, and my dad was the runner-up of that show in 1968, launching a pretty big career, and he sold over 1 million albums, like 1.3 million albums in Norway, which is good considering there are only 4 million people in the country at that time. So I grew up sort of in my dad's footsteps, but he wanted me to go in his dad's footsteps because he thought the pop industry wasn't the best industry to be in. He wanted me to go into classical music. And so I started playing the violin, and after 4 years of that, it wasn't for me. So I changed to piano, and then I played classical piano for the next 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you went on to study at Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, didn't you? Yeah.
So I hadn't heard about this school. I did a year as an exchange student in America, in Kentucky, where so my thoughts were like I wanted to go back to the States, and I'd already been in contact with like places like Berkeley or Juilliard, and I wanted to go back to America. But then I just came across, it was this like convention thing where universities from across the world was in Oslo, recruiting students, I guess. And I was there, and I saw Lipa was there, and I'd never heard about it, and it sounded, amazing. So I chatted with them, and they invited me to come to an audition 2 days later. Yay. And I wrote a song the night before, and I played that song for them, and that got me into Lipa. So I thought, well, if I hear about this school, and it's the Paul McCartney school, and
it's a famous school.
So in 2 days I get in. It must be, fate. So I just went to Liverpool. I started studying music there. Yeah.
So my big question is, how did the band come about?
Well, it's a bit of a long story, but I'll do the short one. Our management, Tim Byrne and Vicky Blood, Burn Blood Productions, which is a bit of a cool name. They were looking for, they had this idea of, because they already had steps, and they wanted to create a boy band where all of the members were songwriters and musicians. Because a lot of the boy bands at the time were like models and dancers learning how to sing, I guess. Yeah. And they wanted it to be like singers and musicians learning how to dance, which, is what we became in the end. Because I didn't know how to dance to save my life. But they auditioned like 3,000 boys, I think, for the band. And the only one that came out of those auditions was Paul.
Wow.
And then they realized that if they were looking for, musicians and songwriters, they didn't usually, apply for a boy band. So they decided to look around at performing arts schools for talent. And then that's how they came across me. My songwriting teacher recommended me for the band. And then I went down to London to audition, and Paul was there, and then random, Mark probably told you his story, but Tim found him in the audience of another concert and invited him to meet me and Paul. And he said, well, only if I can bring my friend along. And that was Ben, because they were already mates. So it was like me and Paul, we'd sort of been in the band for half a year before we met Mark and Ben, but they'd already been a duo for a long time. So that's the very brief version of how we got together.
Yeah, and you just had so much success. I've got here 2 UK number ones, a Brit Award for Best Newcomer, total of 10 UK top 10 singles. I mean, you were selling millions of records worldwide. Did you ever think when you first got together that it was going to be that big?
I honestly thought it would be like a foot in the door into the music business, the music industry. That's literally what I thought it was going to be, like to get to know people. And in my wildest dreams, I couldn't imagine the success that we had. And obviously I'm very happy about that now, because it still allows me to live off, music, which was always my dream.
Exactly. Well, we're going to play out Take On Me, which was your first ever #1. I mean, that must have been such an incredible feeling for you all.
Absolutely. But we were so busy at the time. I think we were at an airport in LA when we got the news. So like, hey, we're #1, yay. And then we had to, go about our business there. And no time
to celebrate.
No time to celebrate. But I'm really, really proud of our version of Take On Me, because it's one of those songs that for a Norwegian, obviously it was Aha who wrote it. And, it was a bit of a second national anthem for Norwegians, that we could take it to #1 in the UK, because Aha only took it to #2 in the charts in the UK. So it's a really proud moment as a Norwegian.
Hey, well, we're going to play out the video right now. Enjoy this. See you in a couple of minutes. Questions, Christian, from some of our lovely viewers. Kelly would like to know, what was it like starring in the Oslo Broadway version of Les Mis?
Oh, that was a dream come true. I was always a musical fan, and funny enough, the first musical I ever saw was Les Mis when it was first performed in Norway back in '88 or something like that, when I was just a kid. And my mom took me to see it, and I was so in love with cassette, and I bought the album. I listened to the songs so many times, and then when I went to high school in the US, I was in the High School Musical, which was fun, and and the very first song I ever sang anywhere in public was one of the girls in my choir in my high school in Kentucky. She wanted to sing one of the songs from Phantom of the Opera, Christine, that's all I ask of you. And she wanted a duet partner, and she picked me. I didn't really want to sing. I was a piano player at that time. And I thought I'll sing with her because she was so gorgeous. I wanted to just spend time with her. And that opened up so many doors for me, because I didn't know that I had it in me to sing in front of people. And that sort of opened so many doors for me, that when I got amazing feedback, and I thought, oh, maybe I can do this. And musicals have played a big part in my life in a way. So when they called me out of the blue, I'm like, I asked the producer, like, how did you think of me to audition for the part of Marius? And she said, well, she'd read an interview with me about like this country song that I'd produced for another artist. And I was singing it with her, and she just thought of me, and she called me. I was like, great, I'm really happy I'm in. And I had to audition, obviously, but I got the part, and did 98 shows in Oslo. And it changed a lot, like the way I perform, I think, like the way I sing songs, because usually before then I would just sing a song and feel it, obviously. But when you're on as a musical theater artist, you have to really, get the message of the song across. All the lyrics, you have to mean them to the people at the very back of the theater. And that made me think about how I perform my other songs. I want the message to come across the same way. Yeah. So it really changed a lot, and it taught me so much, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was hard work, because you can never do anything social for that amount of time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because you can only see your other, co-workers at the theater. But it was so much fun. I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Oh, wow. And theatre is just something that I've missed so much in lockdown. So as soon as we're allowed, I would definitely be supporting the arts, because it's just a lovely escape, isn't it, from life, just being at the theatre, for us watching and as for you guys as performers. So, yes, bring that back. And my question to you is it true you're the voice of Flynn Rider in Tangled in Norway?
That's right. I am Flynn Rider in Norway. Oh. Yes. I've been really lucky to do a lot of voiceover dubbing work. And I mean, I'm the Norwegian voice, so I don't have the original any of these, but I've done a few Disney classics, which is good fun. I'm Phil Collins' voice in Brother Bear. Wow. And I'm also, I've done a few other movies. Lately, I did a Netflix movie called Over the Moon, I think it's called in English, where I'm Gobi, the little comic relief character in that. I'm also the Norwegian Dick Dastardly, which is quite fun. I've done like 300 episodes of that. So yeah, I do a lot of. I'm Benjamin Bunny in Norway in the movies. So a lot of fun characters I get to do.
Now I want to talk a little bit about your writing and producing. You've written and produced for some well-known Scandinavian artists, and is it right, a song you wrote for A1 was a #1 in Australia for their Pop Idol winner?
Oh yeah, that's right. A song called "Learn to Fly" was picked up by. It was actually the runner-up of Australian Idol, I think, but it was a big success for him. He had a #1 with the song and the album, and was #1 in the radio charts there for weeks, and it was a really big song for him, which is great for me, obviously. I'm of the, I just love it when a good song is recorded by many artists, and
yes.
It makes me so happy when other artists was to record a song I've written and make it their own. That's just fantastic.
Yeah, that must be such a good feeling when that happens. Yeah, absolutely. And moving forward, because we want to know, can we come to one of your tours? You've got your solo tour that is going ahead, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So I'll be on tour in June in Norway. So I don't know if anyone's allowed to travel in from abroad yet at that point. But, I also do my annual Christmas tour over here, which has grown into a big thing. We do 52 concerts each year, which is one of my favorite things to do all year, except the A1 concerts, of course. But before then, A1 are touring the UK. So if, fingers crossed, everything's open again by October, we'll be on the road. You can, come see A1, which is even more fun than just seeing me. Ooh. So, but I'm really happy that I can do both. I mean, it's for me, I do very different kind of music as a solo artist than I do with A1, but both are very much me. So I think
it's good to have both. Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that annoys me a little bit with all the, people seem to be locked into genres, and I only like this music and all. I like so many different genres of music, and I think there's good and bad music within almost every genre. And I listen to so many different things, and I write so many different. That's why I also like writing for other artists, because I write completely different things than I would for myself as well, and it's just good fun writing and challenging yourself.
Well, talking of good songs, we're going to play out Every Time, because this is actually my favourite, Christian. I do love a ballad, and yes, if it's all right with you, we're going to play it out. Yeah,
this is actually one of the first songs that I think it was the first song that Mark, Ben, and I wrote together. The three of us. It was just one of those. I had the idea of the chorus the night before because I was going on a date. I was running late, and I had the key in the door, and every time I thought about going on a date with someone else, I kept remembering this girl back in Norway that I was in love with, and I thought, like, every time I try to kiss someone else, I think of her. So every time I kiss, I feel your lips, and it's like, oh, that's a good idea. And luckily, I went back in and I recorded that idea before I went on the other date. Came way too late, was it? But then the next day, I came down to Mark's. Ben and Mark had already started a verse and a bridge. Just needed a chorus. And I thought, I think I have the chorus. And I listened to the tape recorder, and it was like a glove. It was the same key. It was the same tempo. It was like, oh, it was meant to be. So it was one of those songs that was just there. It was given to us. And we're so proud of it. And it was a good... it's a great song to record as well. Really good fun.
Now, Christian, you embarked on your solo career in 2003. You've reached #1 twice in Norway, and I know you do a lot of concerts as well as a solo artist. Now, you've got a new album that is going to be released on the 25th of June. This is very exciting, isn't it?
It is, and it's actually one of those rare projects that wouldn't have happened if Corona didn't happen, I think, because it gave me time to write and produce a Norwegian album, my first album in Norwegian with Norwegian lyrics. And it's been a really fun project because I don't do it a lot, and because obviously I started my songwriting so early, in A1, before then as well, obviously, but I wrote in English my whole career. So then trying to write in a different language was a bit tricky to begin with. But I'm really happy with it. And it's a really cool project because I got a grant from the government to record this. So I had some funding. So I could really, hire some of the best musicians I know in Norway to play on it, and they've all been here in my studio one-on-one recording, drums and bass and organ and saxophone. I could just do anything I wanted. It was so fun. And also the concept behind it is pretty cool and something that I've been thinking about a lot during the Corona times because it's one of those things we talked about it in the break here that Corona has really taught us a lesson, to really appreciate the little things that we take for granted. Usually, just being able to hug someone or hang out with friends and family and see your parents. And so to me, it's been one of those album projects where I really thought deeper into things. And I read these books by an Italian author called Barnaba Ruggieri. And he'd written 12 books, one for each of what he considers the 12 core values. He'd spent 14 years studying what are the 12 core values and what happens if you live by them. Does it actually benefit you to live by integrity, for example? As opposed to, cutting corners and, if no one sees that you're not doing the right thing. And he's found studies that prove that you actually are better off in life if you follow these. And so I thought, hey, that's a brilliant project. I'll write one song for each. You can actually look it up. It's called the Moral Wings Project. So if you go to moralwings.org, I think it is online, you can see, and they're in English, these books as well. So I've sort of translated these values into Norwegian. I've written one song for each value, and I realized that I already had a few songs that would fit into it. I released a song a few years back that would fit well into the category of love, for example. So I didn't have to write all the songs over again, which is the video I know we're going to see in a minute. That's that video. So that's the reason why that's already done, because the album's not done yet. The videos are not done yet for the other songs, but I have actually a video for one of the songs. But it's one of those albums that's very dear to me.
And we're going to have a little look at that now.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to introduce it, Christian, go for it.
Yes. So for the value love, this is a song about, I think we've all had summer crushes and fallen in love during the summer. So this is a song that's translated means remembering a summer. And in Norwegian, it's called Minnes en Sommer.
Jeg ser tåka som slipper for morgen og sol. Jeg ser skyene lette som om det noe de vil si meg. Og du snur deg mot meg som om du vil si de 3 orda som har hele sommerhimmelen i seg. Jeg kan huske den dagen jeg begynte å tro. Hadde stått der og ventet på deg siden vinteren dro. Du kom som en svalvind og virvlet så vidt da du tinte opp snøen som lå der omkring hjertet mitt. Jeg kan minnes en sommer da himmelen var blå. Jeg kan minnes en sommerdag med saltvannsperler på. Jeg kan minnes en sommerkveld med varme og vin, da jeg visste jeg aldri vil slippe hånden som hviler i min. Jeg ser skjærgård som pakker seg ned i en natt. Jeg ser sola som stuper og drar alle fargene til seg. Og jeg snur meg imot deg og prøver å si de 3 orda som har hele stjernehimmelen i seg. For jeg kjenner så inderlig lykken jeg fant da jeg sto der og drømte og så alt jeg drømte bli sann. For du kom som en kveldsvind og roet meg ned. Du strøk bare mild der du visste jeg trengte det. Jeg kan minnes en sommer da himmelen var blå. Jeg kan minnes en sommerdag med saltvannsperler på. Jeg kan minnes en sommerkveld med varme og vin, da jeg visste jeg aldri vil slippe hånden som hviler i min. Jeg vet at det kommer en vinter iblant, regnværsdager med stormer vi ikke kan spå. Men når dager er grå, kan jeg minnes en sommer da himmelen var blå. Jeg kan minnes en sommerdag med saltvannsperler på. Jeg kan minnes en sommerkveld med varme og vin, og jeg vet at jeg aldri vil slippe hånden som hviler i min. Jeg vet at jeg aldri vil slippe hånden som hviler i min.
Oh, Christian, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking your time out to be with us on At Home with Hayley. We're going to finish with the last song, Summertime of Our Lives, because we want to get in the summer spirit, and this video just makes me excited straight away. But thank you so much, Christian. I want to remind everyone that your album is released on the 25th of June as well, so we want everyone to support that.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on. It's been a real pleasure. And I hope to see you in person the next time we speak.
Yes, I'm coming to the tour. I'm never staying in again. I'm coming out.
Oh, please, you're welcome.
Oh, thank you. It's Christian, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, big thank you. We loved having Christian on tonight's show, and to you at home for supporting the show every single week. It is very much appreciated. Thank you. Now, I will see you same time, same place next week. Stay safe. I'm Hayley Palmer, and I will see you then. We're going to leave you with that last song, Summertime of Our Lives. Enjoy this, and I'll see you then.